First, what's the sense? Because, now that the meeting is over, the press conference is over, the googly thrown in by Arvind Kejriwal attended the meeting, boycotted the press conference, but you've been able to speak to your sources. What's the sense that you've picked up now?
Well, I was just a short while ago with Lalu Prasad, who just lives across the road, not keeping too well, but insists that all was well in that meeting, despite Mr. Kejriwal's googly, as you put it, where he effectively boycotted that press conference, raising questions over the Congress's lack of support to him on the critical question of the ordinance. Mr. Lalu Prasad at least insists that the mood is positive, believes that there is a conversation that has begun between the opposition parties, and that conversation, he believes, will eventually lead to a wider alliance. He's convinced about it. The problem, of course, is that there are enormous contradictions that still exist. What you saw between Kejriwal and the Congress is just one example of it. It's not so much the ordinance. I think eventually the Congress, according to sources, will support the Aam Aadmi Party on the floor of the Rajya Sabha. But it is the fact that who will accommodate whom? Who will be the premier leader in Delhi? For example, who will be the premier leader in Bengal? Will the Congress and the left both acknowledge Mamta's dominance in Bengal? These are ticklish issues that will need to be resolved. Plus, how will you bring in more allies in key states, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Odisha? So I think what you are seeing at the moment is the start of an attempt to create a wider alliance with no clarity on what the end game is, beyond the fact that these parties have realized that for their very survival now, they need to come together. This is not just about ideology. This is about short-term survival for many of these parties who recognize that they can't afford to suffer another big Lok Sabha defeat a year from now, because that could be an existential crisis for some of these parties, particularly the Congress, which I keep reiterating is the elephant in the room. How much is the Congress willing to concede to these other parties is critical to whether this alliance can actually last and actually endure next year.
Rajdeep, one quick question. You said how much is the Congress willing to concede, but clearly, other than, what's going on with the ordinance and the Aam Aadmi Party, the Congress seems to have conceded. You have the TMC, which seems to be happy because sources within the TMC tell us it was a very good meeting, very happy with the way Rahul Gandhi handled it. On the other hand, if the likes of Mamta Banerjee, Samajwadi Party are willing to come to a Congress-run state in the next 10 days for round 2, well, that's a good thing for the Congress.
It is. I mean, the fact that the Congress is willing to host the next round as a retreat in Shimla, which is, of course, Congress-ruled Himachal, is a positive sign for those who are wondering whether the Congress would be the first to withdraw from any such wider alliance. It clearly shows that the Congress at least seems willing to invest in any attempt made to build this wider alliance. But the real question will come, the nitty-gritty of resolving local level contradictions with national ambitions. All these leaders have their own local concerns, and at times they come in conflict with each other. So resolving them won't be easy. This is not a one-day match. This is going to be a marathon from what we gather. Shimla could be in July. You could have Chennai in August. Then you could have Kolkata in September. You could have an entire calendar leading up to the winter elections. And I think those winter elections and how the Congress does in those critical states of Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and Chhattisgarh will decide just how this alliance plays out. Will it be an alliance with the Congress very much at the center of it, the magnet to this alliance, which the Congress would like, particularly post Karnataka? The Congress believes it has the momentum. Or will it be much more an alliance of equals, where the regional parties will also have their say? I think all of this will be decided over the next 5 to 6 months. But clearly, the opposition is willing to set aside some of the differences, particularly over leadership issues, for now, at least to carry on the conversation. So the conversation, one can say, the dialogue has begun between these parties.